Hey everyone, Once Bitten here at the Battle Report. So this is the fourth and final game of the Mid-Atlantic qualifying tournament for 2014. My Bretonnians versus an Empire army. So to set the stage, this is a 10-man tournament. Only the top five advance to represent the Mid-Atlantic in the National Masters tournament. And it's just been an atrocious tournament for me, and I'm on the bottom table. Table number 5 in a 10-man tourney. So neither one of us know that we have a chance advancing. So we're just approach this game differently than most tournament games. We're literally just kind of having fun, and it was an absolute blast. I should say though that I played a rule wrong all tournament. It never made a difference in the tournament except for this game, and I will describe the error and the ramifications and apologize to my opponent when that comes up. So, very interesting Empire list. Oh, here we go. This is our attitude going into this game. We're like, let's do it. Let's just have fun. Starting on the far right, he's got a unit of 5 vanilla knights, a steam tank. He's got his battle standard bearer mounted on a Pegasus. He's got the white cloak of Ulrich. Then he's got a unit far left of this picture of great weapon knights. Next to them, this is funny. In the Empire book, their lord level character is called a general, which is problematic because you have to choose a general, and which one is it? So I think this is a general who is also my opponent's, the general of his army. He's on a griffin. Then he's got another unit of vanilla knights, 5 strong, and with them is a shadow wizard with a speculum. Next to them, he's got another unit of vanilla knights with another shadow wizard. There's some huntsmen in the building, another steam tank, a captain on Pegasus, and then another general, but this is not his general, it's just a general on a griffin. And let's see the woods, and then the far left he's got some more great weapon knights. So I've seen him. I know that he and I both did really well at the Grail Quest tournament, and when I see him play this list, this deployment is fairly standard. He likes to spread out through the whole board, which for me is just very counterintuitive. I always like to bunch up my troops. I can tell you that seeing his list, I wasn't really worried about it. I feel like I've got answers for the steam tanks. I'm not really worried about his small knight units. His characters that are flying around, I can't. He's going to be able to dictate the movement. There's not a lot I could do about them, but at the same time, I'm not really worried about what they can do to me. I guess if all of them charged into one combat, that could be a problem, but for the most part, they're not like Chaos Warrior characters. Anyway, this is after Vanguard. And I didn't take pictures of my deployment. I'll talk about it here. He opted to let me go first. I think there's something to do with the scenario that going last, there seemed to be an advantage to it. So I've got my Knights Errant on the far right. My 2 Knights of the Realm units are the middle and the left, of course. I've got my General with Heroic Killing Blow and a Paladin in the rightmost unit. In the middle unit, I have my Battle Standard Bearer and 2 Paladins, as well as my level 1. I'm embarrassed to say this. I think she took beasts. On the far right unit, by the way, my level 4 is in there, and she has heavens. And the far left, that unit has another Lord level character, as well as a Paladin with the plus D6 on the first time you charge. The one on the far left is my +1 movement. Middle is standard discipline. Right is the flaming banner. So obviously that's turn 1. Here's on the left, I've got archers, and anyway, not a whole lot going on there. I think it's time to throw rocks, and I hit, and even though it hits his character and the griffin, I think his character makes his ward save. The griffin wounds, and I do 4 wounds to it, sitting on only 1 wound left, and I really like that, because now I'm not worried about him in combat, because it's just too easy to roll a 6, and griffins don't have any kind of save. And over here, I think a rock scatters off. I think I was trying to hit the steam tanks if I can just take a wound or 3 off of a steam tank, it really decreases what they can do. It scattered off, hit the knights. It looks like it killed maybe one of them. We go to Empire turn 1. For the most part, here opposing me, he holds back just a little bit. His general on the griffin that's been wounded charged by peg knights and failed. It was kind of a long charge. I'm really glad he failed it. Yeah, there's that. And on the left, he's very aggressively moving up there. Like I said, there's not a whole lot I can do. He's out of my line of sight, which is just a problem I keep on making. A mistake I keep on making is not, angling my units a little bit more to make sure that if he flies up, he'll be in my line of sight. But whatever. I'm not really worried about these guys flying over here. They can go after my Chebs later on. That's just fine. So with shooting and magic and whatever, he kills one knight, the leftmost knight of the realm unit, and a steam tank. I think it's the one in the top left of this picture. Shoots a cannonball right across my guys, hits 3, wounds 3, and I fail the ward saves, and he cuts the unit down by 25%. They pass their panic. So we go to Bretonnia turn 2. So my unit on the left has a very easy charge into the flank of a steam tank. And this is and my Peg Knights charge his general on the Griffin. Now what I'm thinking is all my attacks go into the Griffin. I do 1 wound and that thing dies. I should be able to win through combat res. And when that thing dies, I'll get a stomp attack or 2 stomp attacks. Anyway, 1 or 2 on his character. So I think I'll win that and just beat him through combat res, and that's a lot of points off the table. Yeah, so here's the role I've been playing wrong, incorrectly all tournament. So this character in the front right of my unit, I gave the Virtue of Audacity. And the Virtue of Audacity says that against opponents of strength 5 or better, you can re-roll to hit and to wound. And in the past, whenever I've given the Virtue of Audacity, I've always given them the Sword of Heroes. And the Sword of Heroes says that against opponents of toughness 5 or better, you get +1 strength, and any wound that goes through does D3 wounds. Well, in my list, I gave him the Virtue of Audacity, but in my mind, he had the benefit of the Sword of Heroes. So all tournament long, I'm playing it that against opponents tough 5 or better, I'm +1 strength, and I do D3 wounds. And I said, hey, I'll give him a lance. Now I'm charging strength 7. Oh, God, I felt so bad. I am so glad. At this point, I'm so glad I did not make it into the Masters tournament, because I would have had to have backed out. Oh my gosh, what a dumb mistake. And this is where it matters. If it didn't have that item, I would not have charged the steam tank. With the item, I'm thinking I'm charging at strength 7. That means I'm wounded on a 3. His armor save doesn't help him nearly as much, and D3 wounds. So anyway, apologies to my opponent. It was not intentional. Apologies to all my opponents. I don't know what my deal was this tournament. I mean, I showed up. I didn't even bring all my models. I left a unit of archers and a damsel at home. I've never done that before. I'm playing this rule wrong. I mean, it's like my head wasn't in it or something. Anywho, I think a trebuchet scatters off and hits this knight unit, so there's only... I can't tell if there's 1 or 2 guys left. There's a base back there. I don't know if that's a unit filler or a guy. And my knights and my paladin all flub their attacks. No wounds go through, but my lord level character gets 2 wounds go through, and when I roll the D3, I roll 3 on each, so I've now done 6 wounds to the steam tank, which ends up being pretty huge. Of course, he sticks. Those huntsmen, by the way, are in the house. They're not blocking a charge by his knights. And yeah, we do 1 wound to the griffin, kill it, and then break his general who's on foot. And because he killed one of my Peg Knights, when we overran, I didn't hit either of those units, which I'm kind of glad. I didn't really want to hit those knights on the left. And so we go to Empire turn 2. He rolls up his steam points going for 3 or 4, and he misfires, and he rolls the thing that says you do 2d6 hits to yourself and to all units touching you. Now, unbeknownst to me, there was a FAQ for our region that says that when the steam tank rolls that, the hits to himself, he does not get armor saves against him. And I disagree with that. I don't know where that came from. I've never heard of it, but my opponent swears that's the way it is. So he did 2d6 hits to himself. He rolls like a 10 or 12. He rolls to wound and rolls 4 6s. Doesn't get armor saves. Steam tank dies. For that is atrociously bad luck, but combined with my cheating, anywho, I think that who knows? It's always helpful to have steam tank alive. So after that, he decides just to charge the hell out of that unit. Because the steam tank's dead, his battle standard bearer and a unit of knights go in the front. Another unit of knights goes into the flank, and his lord level character on a griffin, the one surviving one, flies into the rear of that knight unit. Then, if you look in the middle of this picture, his one remaining knight charges this other unit. So there's that. That's a lot of high strength hits coming in. These guys are strength 5. Of course, on a strength 5, it means I get a 4 up and then a 5 up. So it's still, you got to hit. You should wound pretty much all you hit, and then I usually save a bunch. This, I think, was a mistake. I don't see why you would charge one guy in. I'm going to just beat you through combat res. What I should have done, just marched him up and used him to redirect. I think it was just a long day for both of us. And, yeah. This steam tank pivoted and went after my peg knights and missed it just by a few inches. That was very nice. Now I can fly away and it's not an issue, but if he had made that, he easily would have gotten those points. And his captain on the Pegasus on the left-hand side charged my archers. I did a stand shoot. I don't think they did anything to him, but he failed his charge, which was very nice, just because it keeps him far away. I don't care if he eventually gets his archers, but I like that he's still far away out of the action. After combat, oh my gosh, he did a single wound to a character, to my paladin in the front left that had all those hits against him, a single wound. His Lord level character, the Griffin, his BSB, those guys all whiffed. Did no wounds to me. He won through static combat res, and I stuck. And the real problem was, because he charged this other guy in, we just killed him and then reformed. It was just a huge blunder bringing that guy in. Now I can countercharge my turn, and I should just waste this unit. And the only dilemma I had was: is it better to charge the knights or charge his Lord level character on the Griffin? The Griffin has taken at least one wound. If I can kill that really takes away a lot of the high strength attacks. But at the end of it, I didn't want him to challenge and waste all those hits, so I just go barreling into the flank of that knight unit. That is just an awful lot of attacks. I've got, I don't remember, 2, maybe 3 paladins, all those knights, tons of static combat res. Yeah. That's not a good place to be if you're in the Empire. And I'm going to go up one. Okay, so that's before combat. That's after combat. I want you to appreciate that that huge block of knights with 3 characters did a single wound to him. The Empire Knight unit on the right has his wizard with the speculum, and he's in a challenge with my champion, so they're just in a big pillow fight. He actually did several wounds. I think he did 3 wounds to that unit. Let's say 4 wounds, because one of my paladins is dead. So this time, if he would have done those wounds when he charged in, which is when he should have done them, he would have just obliterated that unit, and I wouldn't have been steadfast, and he would have just cleared them all up. As it was, I come in, and then my heat lance can't do any wounds. Just crazy. And his BSB broke, but otherwise everybody's stuck. Empire turn 3. Very interesting turn. So the bottom left, his paladin charges the knight unit. The archers down there. Here on the top, his steam tank charges into this unit. Now this has my heroic killing blow lord, and then he charges in the flank with knights. And I'm looking at this saying, you know what? It's never great to be hit by a steam tank. Let's just say that. But I have exactly 5 rank and file, so the steam tank isn't going to hurt my characters at all. And you just never know. I mean, it'll do d6 plus 3d3 impact hits. That's not pleasant. My general will be hitting on 4 attacks, hitting on 3s, wounding on 6s, but I get a re-roll every failed to wound roll. And if I roll even just a single 6, that is a ton of combat res. I think the most he can do is maybe kill the knight unit out from under me. And if I get really unlucky, he'll do that, and the knights on the right might be able to kill my level 4. That would be a likelihood that I don't want. But I'm pretty confident in my ability to actually win this, despite being charged. Yeah, I don't have any confidence at all in winning that one. And apparently I have no clue what I'm doing. He came in there and just pile drive that unit. I mean, the steam tank rolled in. For his D6, he rolled a 6. For his 3D3, I don't know what he rolled. It doesn't matter. So he rolled like 10 or 12, between 10 or 12 impact hits, and just blew through the unit. My general misses his hits. Can't roll a 6, so I don't kill the steam tank, obviously. And by the time all was said and done, I wasn't even steadfast anymore. And he broke and ran down the unit. So, nice job there. And over here, it looks like His one of his knights units broke. I've got so much static combat res. We're really not. It's hard for us to wound each other, but I've just got serious combat res. I can't believe his units are sticking, but they did. Looks like that. Bretonnian turn 4. So this is on the far left. My Peg Knights. These are the ones that were near his steam tank, and after that turn I flew 20 inches away to get away from the steam tank, and this turn I charged the flank of this great weapon knight unit. So better than nothing. Thought I'd try it. And after combat, yeah, he just fluffed his attacks again, and I was able to break these units, but not catch them. So everybody's just kind of where you see them, just kind of hanging out, saving their points. So, oh, by the way, the Griffin got killed. So when they fled, he just had his general on foot. I was really surprised my knight unit couldn't catch him. So we get Empire turn 4. His knight unit with his spellcaster that's still alive is still running, and the other one rallies right in front of my general's unit. But my general's unit, not my general's unit's dead. My BSB's unit gets hit in the flank with the steam tank. So my opponent's going to be able to save those points, I'm sure. Otherwise, everything looks like that. I think these guys tried to charge my trebuchet, and they both failed it, because trebuchets have been a serious threat to him this game. Yeah, there's that. I don't have a way of dealing with this. I'm going to put all my paladins back there, so I'll have 9 attacks, strength 5, and against the steam tank, that's just not enough. So there's 1 rallying unit, 1 fleeing unit. And yeah, so my Peg Knights charged in on my turn, and I couldn't break the unit. And then my opponent charged archers into the rear of my pegs. I think that was a huge mistake. I mean, he'll have a charge and a rear unless I can kill them all, but I can't kill the stupid great weapon guys. These guys have a 2-up armor save, but I can turn around and hit those archers with no save and stomp them. I think he just fed me a ton of combat res. His general rallies. Not his general, but his non-general general. And after combat, yeah, this steam tank doesn't do nearly as much wounds as it did against my other unit. And so I reformed to face him. I'm not going to be able to kill that thing. He has 2 wounds there that he's taken. Yeah. And after combat, yeah, so because of all the static combat res, I won combat. His knights broke, but his archers actually stayed in place. They were steadfast. So turn to face them. On my turn, I charge this general. We'll get into a challenge. But I should have some good combat res. And over here, I'm assuming that that's a trebuchet hit and killed 2 out of the 3 knights that were remaining in that unit, and the other guy failed his panic and ran away. And I think the archers are dead. If they are, I should have turned around. I wonder if there's 1 archer left or something. So Bretonnian turn 5. Yeah, we've beat the general on foot through combat res. He wasn't able to do any wounds to me, so we overrun him like that. We're still just having a pillow fight with the steam tank. On my turn, no damage is going to happen. It's on my opponent's turn when he can use his grind attacks that my unit's going to get hurt. And yeah, so now he's close enough to make these charges. So knights into 1 trebuchet, his Captain Pegasus into the other trebuchet. He rallied his great weapon knights in the lower left of this picture. And if you look at the top, his unit of knights with the wizard in there rallied, which I didn't like. And after combat, my trebuchets are dead, and he's facing my archers, which, I mean, I don't care. Over here, oh my gosh, he ground. Look at his grind attacks. Killed, I think, 4 knights. So Bretonnian turn 6, my pegs charged the knights at the top middle. My knights there on the left charged something and caught it. I don't know. There we go. They charged his great weapon knights. Action shots all the way around. So these knights die. And yeah, it basically had a wizard in the front, so I was able to kill the wizard, who's not too hard to kill, and then just be into combat res. They ran off the table. Empire turn 6, he mops up my archers, and that's the game. So that was actually a really fun game to play. I actually liked his list. It's highly mobile. He has a lot of little threats, no really big threats. In all honesty, when I killed his general and the Griffin on turn 2, and then his Doss's steam tank, I felt that that it was just all downhill from there. And then him getting my general, the paladins with him, that knight unit, and my level 4, that was a huge swing in points. And even then, I think I got a 20-0 victory on this. It's just weird. I mean, because if you get the scenario objectives and your opponent doesn't, that's a pretty big swing in the points. So I don't know. I could be wrong. I don't think I am. I think I got a 20-0 victory on this. So rough day for my opponent. But we're both kind of in the same boat here. But anyway, that's it. Tournament's over. Time to move on. Hope you enjoyed the battle report. And again, apologies to my opponent and all my opponents for screwing up the rules that day. Hey everyone, Once Bitten here. Thanks for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it. As you know, YouTube has several functions you can use to interact with videos such as this. You can like the video, you can leave a comment, you can favorite the video. I want you to know that I appreciate it when you do things like that. It feels much more interactive than simply me talking to a screen. So if you're willing to do so, please like, comment, and favorite the videos. Subscribe to the channel if you want, and you certainly are welcome to share this video on your blog or other websites if you are so inclined. Again, thanks for watching, hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time.